And how are you doing? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I don't think I've ever started an episode with and I just did so. Before I get to the sponsorship, please feel free to rate and review the podcast on the Apple Podcast app. This is your opportunity to let us know how the show's doing and give everyone an idea of how you feel about the show and by rating it and reviewing it. And when you do review it, Maddie B will read the podcast or read the review rather on the podcast. And it's sort of our thank you for reviewing the show. And now to the sponsorship. This episode is brought to you by Mortuary. They are a small family-owned and operated mortuary that has been serving this island's community for over 45 years, 47 years to be exact, and providing the top-of-the-line funeral and cremation services during a time when it's absolutely needed the most because, let's face it, we're all going to meet our demise. That's not a soft way to put it, but why not make your memorial or the memorial of a loved one the most beautiful it can be? If you are looking for any pre-need services, want to find out any more information about traditional services, cremation services, sea burials, Addis Mortuary can provide all that information for you by contacting them at 477-1311 or go visit them in South Route 4 right after you pass the gas stations down the hill towards Chatwood. It'll be on your left-hand side. Feel free and walk in and just to see anybody. And if you just want to find out information or you're in absolute need of the services, Addis Mortuary, large enough to serve, yet small enough to care. And now, my next guest on the show, he's been on the show multiple times. The first time we met Steve was online. He was in a different part of Japan, and I think he had just moved there. And now this relationship has sort of developed and evolved all the way through FestPack and to now, where he came home and now he brought his whole family. And it was really good sitting down with him and talking to him in the studio. Now we have a decent studio now that we can actually call a studio. So I hope you enjoy this conversation. We talk about his last 7 years in Japan, how he's going to make his transition back to Guam, what it's going to take, what it takes to be a freelance person or a worker out there in a foreign country, stuff that maybe a younger person would love to aspire to do. And I think he shows that it's very possible. So before I get ahead of myself and I keep talking, without further ado, Steve Lefever on the podcast. Check it out. And we're on.
Okay.
Going.
Nice.
We're rolling.
Rolling.
This is awesome. It's awesome to have you in the studio.
Yeah. We're back. We're back.
Quote unquote studio.
It's been 3 years.
It has been.
And you guys have really.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's been 3 years. You guys have really developed here.
2016.
Since last time I was here. Yeah, for FestPack.
Yeah.
Was it FestPack?
Yeah, it was FestPack. And then you're right. When I went to Japan 2017 in February, that's when we actually did the one in the Blue Bottle.
Yeah, Blue Bottle Cafe in Shinjuku right before you guys left with your family.
Right.
That was cool seeing your family.
Yeah.
And now I have my family here, actually. You can hear Irie in the background. Yeah.
I know, a growing family at that. Right? The last time you were on island was what, 2 years ago?
Well, I went last year.
Times.
This is Milo's first time.
Right.
My second boy, Milo. This is Irie's third time, actually.
Nice.
So last time we were here, Irie wasn't even born yet. And now it's like, I got two boys.
Wait.
Last time I was
born.
Huh?
Wasn't he born? Because I met him
at the Blue Bottle Cafe. But I'm talking about the last time I was here in this studio. The first time that I was first and last
during FestPack.
Yeah.
And we were with Freddie.
Freddie Gutierrez and Ed. Ed, what's Ed's last name again? From PDX 671.
Oh, Ed Sablon.
Ed Sablon, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry. Shout out to Ed Sablon. Shout outs to Freddie Gutierrez for that episode. What episode was that again?
Dude, so long ago, bro. So long ago, 2016.
Yeah. So how many episodes now? Which episode?
You're 189.
189.
Yeah, it's come a fucking long way, dude.
Damn, 189.
You know, and I was mentioning to Devon, now we got Matt, and now we got like cameras and stuff.
Yeah. You guys are really set up. You guys are really developed and are really, heading towards the right direction.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I mean, it is. If it doesn't turn into anything, it's okay. I've had an immense amount of fun doing it, and got to do
connections,
it in different places,
networking, stuff like that. Drumming brought to you by my boy. Shout outs to Irie James.
How's everything going with you? How's
great, man?
How's Japan living?
Yeah, like I've been grinding over there, like just straight grinding, just doing like sound recording, location sound. I've been doing acting, a little bit editing. I'm still teaching English, just grinding. And I have 2 boys.
How many hours do you say you're at least like putting in work a day?
24/7.
Really?
I mean, I'm putting in work with these boys too. I'm developing these boys. That's work.
Right.
This is work. This is not just a 1-month vacay. This is like raising these kids. You know what I mean? This is their vacation.
How have you seen it change your life? Like,
which one?
Now with your, now with your kids involved and like, at least not involved, but that sounds weird.
Well,
now in the world and a part of you guys' life, right?
Well, first of all, like I'm with, my partner, Chisato. Shout out to Chisato.
Right.
It's great being with her. And she is my rock for real, because without her, I don't know. I can't juggle all this. Yes, Bob. What's wrong? What? Oh, the doggy. He wants to see the doggy. Go. He wants me to go with him. No. Daddy busy. Right there. Look. Right there. Doggy. Yeah. That's my life right there.
But that's real and that's raw.
Yeah, that's real. Right? That's raw. I mean, shout out to daycare. They help us out, They're there, and, that's when I can really grind. Just put them in daycare for a little bit. It's good, so you can see kids his age, Japanese kids. Some of them are half. They call him hafu,
right?
Like him. So it's good for him to be there in that environment, because if we're not there, like we don't have a Guam community. It's in Japan. It's very like people in the apartment complex. They're not community. Like they don't want to be personal with anyone else.
Like we just live next to each other. Otherwise, don't fuck with.
And it's like, don't even look at me. It's like, oh hi, so hi, and it's gets awkward in the elevator. This older lady, she speaks a little English, she speaks French. She's nice and she talks and she feels warm. But besides that, it's like you don't really live close to your people, your friends, because everyone wants to be private and they don't want people into their private life.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's that's a little bit of a difference. On Guam, it's village, it's community.
Right.
And
you got family everywhere, right?
Yeah, there's family everywhere and friends that are family too. So It's like a big, just a big family. And we have family over there, friends, but it's more so like I don't want to be a burden.
Does Chisato have a big family?
She has her parents and her brother and her grandparents.
Yeah.
But that's it. Immediate family mostly, and that's it. So yeah, we really like just being on Guam and feeling that family.
Hey, dude, can you let him out, dude? He's not gonna stop.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
But just being here makes us want to move back as soon as possible. Just get everything squared away.
But it seems like now you've sort of found your footing, right? Because the last time I was there, you were maybe like a year or 2 in. Right.
I'm 3 years into Tokyo, and yeah, like it's busy and it's fun and it's great. Work is great.
Right.
And I'd say I want to do this. I want to say like I was saying 8 years. Just keep grinding and learning and bringing it back to Guam and just doing what I'm doing on Guam. Or now it's like 5, but now people are pushing me to come earlier than that as soon as possible. Definitely want to see the Olympics. Want to be there for the Olympics
for sure.
But I definitely
that's huge.
Yeah,
I'll be there in October for the World Cup.
Yeah.
The
Oh, that's
Rugby
me.
World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this year is the rugby finals. I don't know.
Yeah, the
A lot
Rugby
of shit
World
going
Cup.
on in Tokyo.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of shit always going on. But I'm saying, like, coming back to Guam, just like for my boys to grow up here, especially before they get to middle school, because in elementary school in Japan, it's really, you know, fun and learning is fun, this and that. In middle school, they just flip the script on you, and then you got to take these tests that are important for you in order to get to a good high school. You get to a good high school in order to get to a good college in order to get to, you know, a job. And
And all that breeding starts in middle school?
starts in middle school, yeah. And people are, you know, kids are getting white hairs because of how stressful the parents put pressure and the educators and principal and the
to
teachers.
sit at the top and succeed.
To try and, to get into, you got to get in that rat race in the beginning right then and there.
Wow.
So I definitely want to get out before they start feeling that type of pressure.
Is that where that, like, maybe, like, hardworking mentality comes from?
Yeah.
Of having to push,
just pushing and doing these tests. And it's funny how hard they push you into certain, you know, the way they educate you, and they don't really change the educational system. Like they've had it one way, and if it works, just keep going like that. There's not a lot of innovation, slowly but surely, but it's hard for it to change. And you got to, like, intrinsically want to learn something, because they'll give you, like, English from when you're 5, but you're not going to learn it because you're never able to speak it. You can listen to it and you can write it, but they don't give a lot of speaking, you know, like a lot of speaking exercises. And that's where you really learn, is when you speak, in my opinion.
Right. And it's hard to learn it if the culture you're immersed in is.
That's the thing too, because my cousin's kids, he's been living there for like 24 years. The kids, they grew up there, born and raised. It's a cultural thing. Even though, like, their father speaks it natively, with their friends, it's awkward for them to know it and to speak it.
To speak Japanese?
To speak English.
Oh, English.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
but the dad knows.
Yeah. So, like, they don't even speak English. They can't even speak English. You know, the father's, you know, from Guam. He's Chamorro, Mali.
Oh, okay.
And they can't even speak it
saying.
because just culturally, since their friends don't know English, they suppress it. They don't really learn it because they just want to be a part of everyone else.
Right.
You know, so it's like, why learn it? I guess there's no real incentive. But now, you know, with the Olympics coming up and slowly Japan's globalizing, so they're pushing it more towards.
Yeah, because for a long time they were a very isolated country in the sense that they didn't really want to share, like, the tech, right, and everything, all the development economically for them.
Yeah,
especially after the war, it was kind of like an iffy relationship between.
I don't really know too much of the history behind that, but I just know, like, they need to quit with that weed propaganda, because that shit's getting old, dog. It started since, like, World War II, you know, America put in that propaganda that weed is bad, and it's still affecting the country. You know what I'm saying? Like, people,
but that's not stopping people from growing weed in Japan.
Well,
right?
the laws are very what's the word, draconian? It's like really harsh.
Okay.
It's not as harsh as China and Korea. But I just saw a cannabis parade in Shibuya recently, and I was just blew my mind. But then I showed it to this kind of up and coming artist, like, she's kind of famous, Japanese.
Okay.
And she thought, what? That's crazy. You know, because she thinks she's in belief that it's as bad as heroin, that a lot of Japanese think. You know, the marijuana propaganda has been so strong that they've made it feel like it's that bad.
And it'll maybe still have that taboo attached to it for maybe like a generation.
Well, we'll see, because I have heard this girl told me that old politicians are coming in and old politicians are going out, new politicians are coming in, and they're a bit more globalized,
like,
and they might
progressive.
They might push it into like 10 years or something.
Wow.
So I've heard. I'm being optimistic, but you never know. You know how fast it's been. Like, from 10 years ago, when did Washington and Colorado, when did it become legalized?
I want to say maybe like within the last 5 to 8 years.
You know what I'm saying? That's really recent, and now it's kind of just snowballing.
Right,
you know what I mean? Thailand is legalized. Guam is legal. Finally, Saipan did it like overnight. Guam talked about it for a while, but finally they did it.
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah. Me and Matt, Matt and Tiva, my friend Tony Villena, we did a podcast on the marijuana bill.
Oh, nice.
And I concluded with that podcast that I didn't agree with the actual bill. You know, I'm not against the legalization of marijuana. You know, there's a lot of progressive things that we need to add to the laws to Guam, but the way it was written for me, it was like, ew.
It's a little more on.
Yeah, man. We can go into the details on a drunken escapade.
Which episode is that for our listeners?
Damn, I don't even remember. Matt, you want to follow up on that?
Fire that off, baby. Where's your Jamie? Joe's got a Jamie. He's like, oh, that's...
Yeah, he's Jamie. Matt, Jamie.
God damn it, Jamie. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, man, that's very interesting with the just with the whole school thing and the fact that you're starting to have to make these decisions early.
Yeah.
For the sake of how you want your child to grow up, right?
Yeah. Because it's really, now this, after I pass on, this is them and whatever I've instilled in them and hopefully influenced, and give them room for them to do their own thing. If I place them in a certain environment, I think I was placed in the environment of growing up on Guam. I think it'd be great for them, but just mix it in, grow up, be born in Tokyo and then live a little, then grow up on Guam from there. We'll see. Just, I was born here for a reason, so might as well just stick around and see everything develop. Because about your, with your podcast, I like the fact that you're always pushing that, like opportunity is ripe for the taking on Guam.
It is.
Do it here.
I'm a true fucking believer in it too.
You know what I mean? So that's really inspiring to hear stuff like that, and to just have home court advantage and do it all here. If you have an entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurial mindset, you just got to grind hard and see what happens.
Yeah, I think people get gravely mistaken that opportunity is already here, or that there's no opportunity here because it's not here because, or there's no opportunity here because it's not here already.
Taken. It's already taken.
Right. Or doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
But people don't realize, like, it has to be created here. You have to actually be creative on how to apply things that are going on in the world.
Yeah.
And kind of like scale it down to make it important to this place.
Just do it before someone else does it.
Yeah, whatever, I mean, but even so, right? We never want to be the only ones doing something. I guess when it comes to business, it gets a little bit more cutthroat.
But if that someone else is like a fucking cutthroat, fucking corporation that's just gonna just take all, hoard all the clients out, then you better get in before them and hopefully have your foothold in there and be able to keep running and doing what you want to do.
Yeah, and it's better to have a lot of everybody here doing it rather than one big of someone from the mainland going to do it, right? And
that might happen. So
yeah, and there's parts of me that want to leave Guam, like to go and explore the world a little more and stuff like that. But it's like, hey, check him out. What's his deal? All right, where were we at?
Okay, we are. What was I saying?
Yeah. I guess the opportunities, like trying to take advantage of the opportunities while they're still becoming available here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like for people that want to go out, learn something from learn something from wherever you go, and then apply it, bring it back, and come back and once you're ready. You know what I mean?
Right. But okay, so how? I guess being in Japan for what, 3-4 years.
It's been about 6 years.
6 years?
7 years now,
Holy
yeah.
Shit.
I want to hit like the 10-year mark at least.
Are you sort of noticing the differences between the way society works in Japan, and is it like extremely clear, or are there certain norms that really stand out from living in Japan than it is in living anywhere in the United States?
Yeah, I think there's no room to break the rules.
Yeah.
Like even if it's a silly rule,
right?
Like with common sense, someone from America or Guam be like, it's okay, just go ahead, do this or do that.
Right.
But in Japan, if it's a rule, then they're not... Anyways,
it's about that age, yeah.
Yeah. It's the terrible 2s, and I heard about the terrible 3s too. So we're like 3 years into this shit, bro. Because Milo's like 6 months.
Yeah. So. it just doesn't end, right?
Yeah.
When he ends, He's entering.
It's a turbulent time right now, as they say. So we're just
Is it
riding the storm.
Right. I mean, I'm sure patience comes a lot into play.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Because I was talking to my homie John Calvo, and he said that he doesn't ever want to lose his shit in front of his son.
Right.
His son's really young because he remembers one of his family members lose their shit, and he'll always remember that.
Right.
So it's a bit of a traumatizing thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But so like his son can grow up, be like, you know what, my pops never lost his shit, never once, and he just wants to have that type of attitude.
Right.
And sometimes, I do lose my shit. I'm not as patient as my wife. Thank God for my wife. Sometimes I do, but I'm learning to make it better. That's just because of having a history of losing your shit.
Right.
We've all had to work through that. So.
Oh yeah, man, and we all come from a generation. At least everyone maybe our age within the generation. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like that same growing up spirit, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's like truly honest with like the family parties, right? That's where everything goes down. When Uncle is using the tent pole at the christening, right?
he drank half a gallon of tuba. It's about that time.
Budweiser kicked in, right?
The bud kicked in fast, and he's ready, firing off all cylinders. You got a V6, so watch out. Yeah, but no, like fuck, you can't beat the island way. You know what I mean? We're thinking about going to Hawaii. Like we were serious.
Like moving to Hawaii?
Yeah. Before Guam.
Too expensive, man.
I know everyone says that first and foremost. I mean, but if you're banking money, then it's kind of okay.
Right.
But also we don't have the connections. It's still, we're still we're at a way court. It's not our own house, so it's still an uphill battle. So I don't know. We're thinking about just straight to Guam after we're done with Japan. But we'll see. You never know. Opportunity might rise. I mean, my goal is to just jump back and forth, Guam and Japan.
Is there a shortage of work in Japan? Like for you, at least in your field?
No, I don't think so. Like for me, well, as an actor, maybe there's a lot of foreigners that are doing it. Not as bad as obviously LA, but there's already enough to be like, damn, it's hard for me to be a full-time actor, which is why I got into sound recording. And for sound recording, it's quite lucrative because not a lot of guys, there's not that much competition. There's more competition, of course, with camera work and being a cinematographer. Right. But for sound guys, there's like a handful of foreigners in Tokyo that are doing quality sound.
Right.
So I kind of just jumped in and I got my hands on some equipment, and I've just kind of building myself there and building, my teammates. And thank God to Facebook, because that's a lot of where I talk to my people. It's just quicker, to talk to someone and lock a date down. And posting here and there, I was posting about being a sound guy, not to flash, but it's a bit of a low key ad for people,
free
like
advertisement for you,
to just plant that seed in their brain, like, oh, Steve does sound, so let me hit him up. Who do I need? If they're thinking in their they're trying to crew up, like, who do I need to sound? And that's how it started, began. And then I started working with random people here and there, and now I'm freelancing, and I get hit up. Whenever I get hit up, sometimes I have no work, and then sometimes boom, 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 I just get these messages, pop, these gems, and they're like, all right, lock these dates, this and that.
Right.
And that's why I like being crew more than acting in some regards. Like, I love acting. It's like, there's a lot to it if you have a good acting role, but sometimes it's just they need you as an extra body.
Right.
And many times you're holding a date and you didn't even get the job yet. You have to audition, you have to set the date aside, and then you have to go to the audition, and then you have to be chosen. Whereas if you're a crew, if you're a sound guy,
maybe put some food in this bowl, bro.
As a sound guy,
what the hell's going on with him?
They asked you if you're open for a date, and you say yes, boom, you got the job. It's that easy. So it's
not like a waiting game, and
like
it's not necessary to be a part of sort of like a bigger production.
What do you mean?
As far, or like a production team to be a sound guy, you can actually be independently
definitely
contracted to do sound.
Because like what I see is that international crews, when I work with them, I work with like Vice and New York Times and
I see
Google and them, and they always fly, they fly their director out, they fly their camera guy out. They hardly ever fly their sound guy out. They hire local. And so someone knows someone that knows me. It hits me up like, oh, my friend, he's looking for a sound guy here, and then boom, you got the job, and you're cool with everyone. You just maintain professionalism, and you get good sound, and you're kind of just like, you're watching everything. You're not an actor, you know. You're not the life of the party. So it's totally like black and white. It's cool to see it because you're really in the background, and you just know what's going on, but you're not, you know, you're not creating any friction or disruption. You're there. You got to fit in. When everyone's set up, the camera's set up, the lights are set up, then you find a spot to fit in to get that sweet spot, and then you get the good sound, and then that's it.
Is a sweet spot easy to find to like pick
Sometimes
up? Just depends on the microphone.
It depends on outside noise. Yeah, of course it depends on the microphone. You got to get a good microphone, and it depends on like shadows. It depends on
shadows affect sound.
No. Like if your boom pole is up there, you're trying to get good sound, but the shadows,
shot,
right, the actor's face, like boom, you know, the fucking 3 people are gonna let you know, boom, boom, real quick. Oh shit, okay, readjust, make sure it's not in, like even a little piece of the microphone, a little black spot can be in the camera, like right there. You gotta hug the frame line perfectly. But then when you're in there, you're just like, hell yeah, this shit sounds crisp, baby.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, got the sweet spot. No one's saying shit. So when no one's saying shit, then you're good.
That means you're good.
You get the shot. You know, it's cool because you can see the movie, because if you can see someone's frame, the director might have a frame. If you're watching that, you're hearing the actual sound. So you feel the movie first, live, because you're right there.
Interesting how you say that.
Yeah.
You know, being able to feel the movie through sound.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially like with this mic I use, like $1,000 microphone.
Yeah.
That's that shit, dog. It's crisp, you know? And see, that's why, you know, just working at it now, I feel I've developed a passion for sound.
Was it hard at first for you to find your footing as a sound guy?
Oh, yeah. You know, there's a lot of...
being an actor to like now throwing yourself behind the scenes and...
Well, that was the thing. Like when I first moved to Japan, I've always thought like if anything behind the camera is just writing, I'm just going to be an actor and a writer. That's what I was kind of you know, like in college, I was trained for that. And I withheld doing camera work for a long time until I started making this YouTube. And I was, you know, the other guy, he was more of the behind the camera, directing, editing, and camera. And I just always was just standoffish for a while. But he wanted to quit doing the YouTube, and I was passionate about continuing. So that's how I started learning.
That's when you were doing the Tasty English?
Tasty English. That was Tasty English, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's my man, Kevin Foster, who we did it together. But then he is not as passionate about filmmaking as I am. He went into doing graphic design, you know, so that's good for him. But I wanted to learn more, so then just continuing and learning and moving to Tokyo and being a part of crews.
That's right. You guys were in Akihabara?
Oh no, we were north. We were in Gunma.
Oh, okay.
Actually. Yeah, we were like hella like in the sticks, like 2 hours north of Tokyo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for a while, like 3 years, I lived 2 hours north of Tokyo, and then after I moved to Tokyo.
Okay.
Where the action's at. So
you literally had to like throw yourself into the middle of the mix.
Yeah, like for a while, like the year before I left, I was always coming down like every weekend, just getting a feel for it. And I originally came to be an actor,
right.
And it's not as easy for me as it is for you know, they mostly look for like just straight white people, white guys, or straight black guys. And then
why is that?
Philosophical question, my friend.
Well, I mean,
you know, like
objectively, like what have you observed?
Well, you know, fucking, there's still propaganda running around with America. They talk about Trump all the time. So Japan's very Americanized since the war, and of course, the white man is on top of the game. So they appeal to white people, just like a lot of other places. I don't know, Korea is the same.
Right.
Maybe
to have light skin.
Just like
be,
okay, like
superior.
Straight up white people, they get the most casting notice. Like as a Caucasian guy, you have more of an advantage, you know, than
whether you have actual talent or not.
Yeah,
wow.
whether that, you know, if you can speak Japanese, even better. Like a lot of it is very, you know, like there's not a lot of great deep acting roles, as you know, Japanese, of course, you can build a career in Japan if you're Japanese, but there's a very select few of foreigners that make it to the top. It's very hard, you know, and like shout outs to them for finding a way, you know, but it's
Is it a smaller community of foreign actors, like where sort of everyone knows everyone, or is it just an influx of foreign actors where now they're really mixing in?
I feel like
Japanese entertainment.
Like if I go to an audition, you know, there's someone that I know. I'm kind of, the community is pretty small. The filmmaking community, acting community, you see a lot of them, and just that's when I see them and I say what's up to them. We're all vying for the same position, but it's all good. It's not up to us. So you can't be salty to someone even though he gets a job. It's what the director wanted. You know, so you can't beat yourself up. You can't beat, you know, your fellow actor up. We're all trying to hustle for the same position.
Right.
You know, but I mean, my sons, they might have a chance because there's a lot of half Japanese individuals that are coming up and they're having a career now. So it's amazing. There is change in Japan, and you know, it's nice to see that.
Right.
Yeah.
That they would actually maybe survive in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, they could survive and they could thrive.
Right.
You know, like, but it all depends. You know, like even if we're on Guam, maybe I still have connections enough to fly them out for a big job. So it depends. I met this thing called AVEX, which is they create careers for entertainers, and they do, you know, half Japanese. And so when my son is 4, he could join the dancing class. Excuse me. And if he's good enough, he can audition to be a part of AVEX so that they can market him and make him start working towards being an actor
or a model,
or a dancer, model, you know, pianist.
I saw you did a modeling gig.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was fun.
You're actually pretty good, man.
Right? Yeah. Think so?
Yeah.
Hey man,
you got that fierce look.
I'm just copying everyone else, man, because those guys are fucking like
turned on your blue steel, like
I know, hella turned on. Like I looked around, and I saw these cats. I was like, who the fuck are these guys? This is not my usual acting, you know, circle of peeps. They were like,
where did you bring these all stars?
Yeah,
from?
I know, bourgeoisie, straight from Paris or some shit. I was like, damn, it's time for me to step my game. For real, just kept my cool, you know, just maintained the poise, the energy.
What was it for?
It was for this designer. His clothing line is called Children of the Discordants, and so I just went to the audition. I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'll try it out, and I did some walking here and there. I put on some clothes, and they gave me the job, and so it was pretty easy. Just put on just one outfit, then walk down and walk back, and then maybe one more time, walk back, do it again. Just have that energy, and then that's it, and it's over. Yeah, Fashion Week, shit.
Is that something that you would want to sort of like get yourself involved with, as far as like having someone help you get jobs out there?
What do you mean?
Or have you moved on from that?
What do you mean exactly?
Like getting modeling or acting gigs. Do they usually help foreigners, or is it mostly for this guy? This dog. Is it mostly for foreigners, or mostly for like the Japanese actors and stuff like that?
Well, they have agencies that there's for Japanese actors and for foreign actors.
Right.
So it depends on the agency. Like some agencies, if they really like you, they'll just keep you exclusively. But if not, usually the case, you can join as many agencies as you want. I'm with like 10 agencies.
Really?
Yeah, straight up. And I know someone that's with 18. So it's like
what's the advantage of being under so many agencies?
Different jobs. Like someone will hit you up for this. It's not like if I had one agency that hits me up all the time consistently, I'll stick with that. But for me, you know, I don't have as much as an advantage as you know, like other people. I have to like just spread out and try and pull certain days from this agency or that agency. It can get messy just having all these people and checking your schedule and trying to lock in these days. So you have to pick and choose what you really want.
So
but some of these agencies, I'm not saying like they always consistently hit me up. Like some of them don't hit me up for like a few weeks, but it's good to finally hear from them, chime in and ask me for a certain day. So it's really just freelance and hustling and trying to like get these gigs, So
your TV gigs, they came from agencies helping you get the TV gigs.
Yeah. And
how's that for you, man? I mean, it seems really cool and really fun to do, especially some of them are like comedic.
Yeah. Some of them, like, it depends on which ones. Some of them are real fun. Some of them are just kind of boring, and some of them are hard. Like for the dancing one, I don't know if you're referring to
I saw your music video you did. You did a music video. Are you talking about that one?
It was like an old guy. He was dressed up.
Oh yeah, and they were doing okay.
Or dancing. It had that
and his face kept changing.
The Greatest Showman.
Right.
The Greatest Showman vibe.
Right. I saw.
Yeah. So that at first, I didn't know I was gonna get the job. And then they're just like, yeah, we got this job. You want to try for it? I'm like, yeah, sure. It's just photo selection. There's no audition. I was like, yeah, whatever, sure. And then they're like, oh, yeah, you got the job. And I'm like, oh, shit, what the hell is this shit for? And it's called God's Tongue. And then apparently it's kind of a famous thing. And apparently it was for New Year's special. And so they're like, okay, so you know how to dance. So just practice, do a little rehearsal. So we did the rehearsal. And it's all in Japanese. And mind you, my Japanese is still, if they speak fast, I can't catch it, So
have you become fluent?
No.
Okay.
No, like it's slowly getting better. But hey, what's up, Tony?
Oh, you do know Tony?
Yeah, I remember Tony.
Okay.
Our first time.
Oh, yes. That's right.
When I was living in Ikebukuro.
Yeah. No, that's what I was trying to say. I was trying to say Ikebukuro.
Ikebukuro. Yeah.
I said Akihabara.
What's up, bro? Yeah, in person. Over Skype. It's official now. Shit.
Yeah. We were talking about that, and we were saying the first time we both met you was online.
Yeah.
Damn, I love it.
I
love it.
My dingy apartment.
This podcast.
That was right when I moved to Tokyo too.
Right.
And now look at us. Shit. 2 kids, baby. Family. Hustling, bustling, married. Doing it up.
Work.
Grinding.
Before I like get away from it, you're talking about God's Tongue, right?
Oh yeah. So just the first rehearsal, I felt we weren't ready. And so I was like, fuck, why did I get myself into this shit? Right. And plus, I was missing some jobs. Now that I locked that date in, people kept asking me about that day. And it was like some really lucrative sound jobs that are paying like, maybe $1,000 or something like that. Damn. And some, like some of these acting gigs, they don't pay a lot as much as you may think. I don't want to say like, oh, I got paid this or that. It's not as much as you think, because a lot of the agencies get like half of it. They take straight down the middle. They take half of whatever, if the client's offering 500, you get 250, they get 250. And all they do is just direct the talent, and the talent does all the work. Right. So just knowing that, it's like, it kind of messes with you.
It's like, fuck, should I take this? Damn, it doesn't seem worth it. But this is what's available right now.
But I mean, it's, at the end of the day, it's a lot of waiting around. And if you're hustling and you're working on something on your laptop, you can do that. So that's a great thing about it.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, your family gets to see you and be like, oh shit, that was dope. See what you're getting into.
Yeah.
So I love doing it. Just there's the part that is hidden, and the non-glamorous part. It gets me sometimes, but I wouldn't be doing other things. What else am I gonna be doing?
Right.
So.
Wait, just going back to the audio stuff, are you doing the mixing too and the mastering, or is it just pure recording?
It's kind of pre-mixing, like on location. You might have a few channels, and it like a few mics while you're rolling, so you can adjust the mics live.
Yeah.
And then usually I just pass it on. I give the files then and there. And if there's a problem, like there was a noise problem, of course, you're always worried about that. You're worried that you have to say something. You have to mention something. So, like, if there's a little noise issue, so
the sound guy can be like, "Hey, hold on, can you cut?"
Yeah. But there's pressure towards that, because everyone is ready and raring to go because everyone else is set. So sometimes you're like, you have to make a decision. Like, is it too much of a bother, or should I just go with it?
Right.
But as I go along, I just want it to be as clean as possible. So I say something like wait, and everyone's like, oh, I gotta wait. The professionals
Steve
though,
again.
you know who's professional is when they're patient. They're like, all right, gotta wait. And the one's like, oh, again, I'm like, motherfucker, you don't know how it is. So we have to wait, of course, because noise. If not, then you got to pay someone like 3 times more to get rid of that noise. It costs a lot to get rid of noise
in post production.
Yeah, post production, and I don't do that stuff. That's something that I do want to learn, and
that's where you're like really fucking with like all the wavelengths.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, equalization and making things. Maybe you recorded this at a different day, and there's different acoustics when you recorded it another day, but then you're splicing it together. The guy that has to make it sound like it's the same day,
like they bleed it in,
like they equalize and they change it. They do a lot to make it sound good, and it takes a lot of time. That's what I want to learn. That's what I should learn. Just step my game up.
Right. Because ideally you would want to only record the voices and then add all the background noise, right?
Yeah. Like
that's why they have those Foley guys, or what are they called?
Yeah, Foley
dude.
Foley was named after a guy named Foley that was doing that back in the day, like in the 50s when it was all analog,
like using shit to make different sounds.
Yeah. So it has to be like, if there's dialogue, you just want it completely quiet. You want the background extras,
and even as simple as this is what's gonna it's the Foley that's gonna create that sound, and not your actual microphone.
Yeah, but sometimes it all depends like how you splice it all together. Sometimes like certain sounds you can keep it, but you can definitely take it out. That's why there's always room tone. Sometimes I post these posts about getting room tone, but the director's like, no, we don't need room tone. Room tone is like just getting the tone of the room, so that if you have to change anything up, you have that room tone to layer over everything.
So it's like you're recording before the actual recording.
Yeah, like you record for like 30 seconds just to have the tone of the room, because anything can happen. Like a car could go by,
right.
and if you don't have that room tone, you can't do ADR. You can't capture their dialogue later and then add that room tone under it to make it sound like they were there,
right.
But then you record it later.
Does location specifics affect how you record the sound or where you position the microphones? Like if you're in like in an enclosed room, or you're in an area that has maybe 2 walls and you're sitting in a corner of it, like there's
echoes.
Are
everywhere.
those things you have to like really take into account?
Yeah. Like if you're in a small room and
right.
you're trying to do an interview, you gotta listen to echoes. But if you got a bigger room, then there's not as much echoes. So you do it there. You position it in a certain way, because that, like this fan right here could be a problem.
Right.
Or the train's going by. So if anyone's a location scout, a good director will listen to sound as well, not just how it looks, but they'll notice.
He'll close his eyes and just be like,
yeah. And
at 3:00,
old lady. Some of these directors,
bicycle.
Some of these directors are really like, I like that style, like that spiritual style. Because I was working with the Russian crew, I was doing sound for. They're doing a documentary, and the director, I really liked him. He was just like really, really creative artist type. At one point, the musician, his sound box, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And the director's like, here, give it to me. And he was like walking around. I was wondering what he was doing. He was walking around talking to it. Like, come on, baby, let's we just got to get this shot. Let's do this. And so we're just all waiting around, just watching him like really seriously talk to this sound box so that I could start working. I was like, that's my G right there.
Did it work?
No, it didn't work. But the spirit was there.
The spirit was there.
I fucking love the spirit.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah. Because I just feel like I like being around directors that can really host the set. A lot of times directors are really like, they know what they want,
right.
But they're very like really hardcore getting what they want. And it creates this like tense atmosphere where people are like, oh, okay, he's at this power trip, but he's paying us, so we all got to follow. You know what I mean? So if a director thinks I'm paying them, then they do what I want. It still creates a friction where you might miss the movie magic when everyone is on board and they're just going with the flow and not thinking too much. You got to have a certain atmosphere to really capture that certain moment, which is, you see it in movies, and that's when they've toned it down and they really locked it in.
Yeah, I actually was able to go on a movie set, and or not a movie set. It was a TV set, mini series for Showtime, and we were in a hotel in like the penthouse of a hotel in New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was able to like see them do. So what they do is they actually bring in doubles, the actors doubles, and then they go
Stunt
over.
doubles.
Well, I guess I don't know. Would you call it stunt doubles if they're just going over lines?
Stand-ins.
They're stand-ins.
Yeah, stand-ins.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say sit-ins.
You know, if they're sitting in, it depends on the scene.
Right. They were all sitting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
So
a
they're
table,
sit-ins.
and so
Good enough.
they use that. They use them to adjust the sound to make it perfect, because we were standing behind the sound engineer, and I guess everything was sort of wireless because he had this thing.
Well, it's just like it's a bit of like some like boring work, I guess. So if they can just speak and they want to see the camera angles, they want the actor to rest. The actor is basically the person that needs the most time to be on and to be ready.
But the stand-in is responsible for almost sounding like the actor, as if the actor was doing it.
I think just maybe like voice levels, so it's not peaking.
Right.
They could still adjust it even though it's a different voice.
Hey, you enjoying this episode so far with Steve Lefever? Go rate the podcast now. Rate and review it. Go do it. Now back to the conversation.
And also angles, like having, seeing the light. It's mostly seeing the light on the actor's face.
I see.
Seeing how manipulating the light, seeing how the light works.
Right.
And so the actor can just chill and focus on his character if he needs to, if it's a deep role.
Without having to keep his head turned this way the whole time.
Yeah, like he needs to concentrate on it, and especially if it's, a heavy role, which is that good shit, So he needs to just be focused on that and ready for that.
Yeah, I would say what the show is, but I don't think I'm allowed to say it yet because it's not.
You signed an
released.
NDA?
So, no. I was snuck into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
drop some gems, dog. Let us know.
I was part of the production team.
Let us know some.
Yeah, I was new for the day.
Oh, okay.
I was new for the day.
All right.
Brand new on set.
Just keeping it professional.
Yeah.
Dropping.
I just want to make sure,
names. Yeah.
not getting anybody in trouble. Because it releases this summer. I think next month.
Yeah.
The show.
All right. Put that in the show notes when it releases. And be like, oh yeah, that time we talked to Steve Lefever on episode 189. That's the one right there. So go back to that. So it's also like an advertisement for
this episode.
That's how we do it.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool how you've been able to really find your footing of being a freelancer in what's considered to us foreign country.
Oh yeah, big time.
Right, and be able to find jobs and stuff like that, and for you to like acclimate yourself to that. I mean, it's
shit. It's been tough. It's just working hard, and with technology being the way it is, it was easier, I guess. I think just having a stronghold and having everything line up the way it did, you just have to have faith that it's going to work out. Because at one point, I was pretty low on cash, and I was still trying to like go, I was still in the red, but I still felt fine. I still felt like everything's going to be all right. It's all going to work out, because I just feel like in life, it's always a wave of like, a balance of pain and pleasure. And so if this is low, we're going to come back up. And, sure enough, just sticking to it and always being productive every day, somehow being productive and knowing that other people are doing it and just finding your own footing. You can get to what you want to do.
You're still doing the podcast too, yeah?
See, that's also another thing, just knowing where to spread your energy. And for that, I'm not as passionate as the other two. I was the third member for a while, and Mega Late Show, shout out to Mega Late Show, which is still going strong. Those guys are really hip hop heads, really passionate, and me just having to focus on family and work, and then my kind of side projects, my films here and there. and then I had to kind of just kind of take that off. But it's okay because my energy wasn't as strong as theirs. They had Mega Late Show in their top 3 priority list, and mine was slipping in at 4 or 5. You know what I mean? So it wasn't fair to them, wasn't fair to me. But I still sometimes I go on if it's a homie podcast. You know, they're not that far. They're like a 15-minute bike ride.
Oh, nice.
The studio is from me, so even though Tokyo's big, we're pretty close.
Yeah, and they even do like live shows. Yeah,
yeah. I think they're cutting that out though. Because they're really it's Tokyo's first hip hop podcast, right. And they get deep into it.
I feel like it's Tokyo's first podcast. You know what I mean? Like,
there's this one podcast, but they're not as professional. They just get really drunk and they start talking about Tokyo.
Okay.
But there's another one called Raw Urban Mobile Podcast. Shout out to them. They're cool guys. I'm gonna join them soon. Those guys are cool. Terrence, and Mega Late Show, and yeah, I mean,
it's cool. I'm excited for podcasts to grow on this side of the world.
Yeah.
Right? It's like gonna be $1 billion industry in the United States, and it's trickling over this way.
Yeah.
And I was told that a lot of expats in like Southeast Asia do podcasts.
Oh, damn.
Right. So that's where the growing market is for them.
There's always a niche for this, you know. It's still very new. Like, I'm thinking about starting a podcast just for Tekken fans, yo.
You should.
Nah, I'm just joking on that, but I just love Tekken so much that I would do such a thing. Get my niche and, you know, start pulling in, crewing up the whole
just do it
clan.
Might as well just do a Nintendo podcast.
I know, Nintendo too, my homie. We're gonna join up and just start talking about Bowser and, you know, why he can't win Peach, or, you know. Joking, trolling. Right, bub?
How do you get the music video gigs? I saw one music video. Maybe it might have been the most recent one. It's called Do It or Do You?
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good song, man. I wish we can play it, but it's
Do Ya by I Don't Like Mondays.
Yeah, we'll play it. We'll play it when we get off off the record.
You know, that's also from an agency, one of the bigger agencies called Freewave. They got me that job. They know that I'm a dancer, and so they liked my look, and I tried for a bigger role, like one of the other dancers. You get more screen time, but I didn't have a good enough dance reel. But now, recently, I've been doing sound for a dance movie, and at one point, I was able to do a little dance solo, the director said, and we got that on a Red camera.
No way.
I can't fucking show that because, you know, he's making this dope-ass fucking dance movie, full-length movie, but I have that as a dance reel for my future dance. Yeah.
How did you convince him to let you do that?
I was just like, everyone, there's like, he's kind of a genius. He got all these like old school Japanese dancers together, and he got a crowd of people and make it look like a club. And he let them do solos. And I was really like, because I used to like dance. I've been dancing since I was 16, and that was like my first love of art, was being, you know, dancing and just freestyling in the club. And just seeing those dancers and the crowd, the energy was getting me really fucking pumped.
Right.
And he was supposed to give me a small role for another part, but he cut it out because we didn't have a certain prop, so I couldn't do it. So I just whispered in his ear like, "Yo, can I do a solo?" You know.
not even can I join the group? Is can I do
like,
solo?
Yo, can I get that solo in, dog? It's like he thought about it. He's like, yeah. Towards the end. So I was like, now he said yes. Now I was really like psyching myself out. So then at that one point, like, Steven, you got 30 seconds. So I just jump in there, and the crowd's, you know, rounding up, the fucking cameras there, and I just do my dance. I kind of just black out.
Did you go to the go-to, or did you like break out any new moves you've been practicing?
No, I go to the core go-to ever since I was in my early 20s dance style, where I'm just on one leg and I'm kind of like a cyclone in a way, you know. Like I said, I blacked out. I saw the tape after, and everyone was like, "Oh shit, that was badass, bro." So I felt like I did something.
Did you stop and you're like
something honorable?
You're like, what happened?
Yeah, I know. Like,
what happened? Where am I at? Where am I at?
What happened? It's all cool. Did I look cool? All right, as long as I look good. The energy seems good. Okay, glad I did that. We got that shit. And so now I got that little clip. So I'm ready for the next dance roles when I get back. I'm raring to just show that shit and get that job.
Get that bigger dancing role. Yeah, dude, it's a great song. Yeah. I listened to it a few times and I was like, dang, this is the whole put together. It it's like Japanese funk.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. And they sing in English too.
Yeah, and they sing in English.
Yeah. And that was fun. That's one of the more fun roles, because even then, you know, these are more dancer types. They're not really that much actor types. So I knew a few of those cats, but then a lot of them just do strictly dancing. So it's good to meet them, and it's good. Everyone was all wearing like funky clothes. So I brought a bunch of clothes. They chose my old school Planet Hollywood shirt. If you guys know how the Planet Hollywood shirt looked, it was very colorful and stuff like that. So I was wearing that, just representing, you know, and I rocked that. I rocked this colorful like reggae hat, and everyone's just looking like funky 80s, 90s. You can't really say what it is, but we're just dancing. Right. It was fun. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, look how much you've built your resume, or at least your portfolio.
Yeah.
Right. I could imagine that you'd be able to take this to different Asian countries and being able to utilize it if you wanted.
I feel like this, if I was to go like, you know, hardcore into it, I could definitely now go to LA, and now that I have like a professional reel and a resume attached to it with big names, you know, like
it's almost like you went to the Euro League to come back and play in the NBA.
Exactly. I went to the Asian League, you know, joined them up, the Euro League, whatever, and then now I'm ready to join the big league.
Right.
Shit.
But it's still considered big leagues. I feel like the Asian entertainment industry is one of the biggest in the world.
I mean, I just feel like I always got to remind myself that I'm happy to do acting and get paid to do it. You know, it's not as much as what they make in Hollywood. You know, it depends on the job, but just to be able to do that. You know, a lot of the actors complain about this and that, the food not being that good, but I'm like, man, fuck.
The food not being that good?
Like bentos, you know.
Oh, okay.
Like you know,
I don't know, man.
for lunch.
I'm all about the bentos for lunch.
I'm happy. I'm good. Like food is food, you know. Of course, better food is better food, but you know, give me some natto and I'm good to go.
Right.
Doesn't have to be sushi.
Right.
I mean, but if I'm gonna eat sushi, it's gotta be in Japan, of course. I thought sushi was super overrated for a long ass time. In America, living in California, everyone's like, sushi, oh my God, let's go.
Let's go
and
get
like,
sashimi.
Fucking $10 for this damn little thing. I'm like, this is not worth it. You know, I thought it was a ripoff until I moved to Japan, and then the prices were nice and the sushi was excellent. Then I got into sushi. It got into my top 3 Japanese foods. So it was like maybe top 5 for a long time. Yeah. And now it's like fucking 2 or 3. It goes natto, then it goes sushi or ramen. Yeah, that's 2 and 3. Ramen was number 1 for a long time.
When you moved to Japan, that's all you ate?
Yeah, but then, you know, it's just so bad for you that I hardly eat it now. I eat it like once every other month now. Right. Yeah, crazy.
You know, now that you gain this footing doing what is that? Is that the TV? See,
they're trying to sabotage. First the dog, then Irie. Now my wifey's up in there. Sabotage.
I was thinking about our first podcast, and they were doing construction.
Oh yeah.
Like on one of the floors, and so every 20 minutes it was like brrr, brrr, not every 20 minutes. Yeah. Go ahead and talk. I'm just gonna not mute myself.
Good shit, bro. It always happens.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what you do, that's what makes it a podcast. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
shit. Okay, sorry. After the...
I know. What were we talking about?
I wanted to ask, you know, now that you've created this portfolio and resume with the Asian entertainment industry, how do you think that would translate if you move to Guam? You know, it's going to be much harder work, right? The opportunities they're going to have to be created.
Yeah, I mean, for now, I think I just want to build myself more. And now that I have my mindset coming back to Guam in a certain amount of time, I just want to continue building my network of people, especially Japanese filmmakers that want to come to Guam to do something. So I could be their island guy.
Like a liaison?
Yeah, they call it fixers.
Okay.
Fixers are the people in the film crew that they fix problems, they set locations, they get someone going. It's almost like a producer, but they're called fixers for some reason. So I could be that guy that kind of translates, and if they need, also a sound guy, I could be the one doing that. Or I could try and step in and see if I can direct commercials, since I have more of a background in that. I want to do more directing. I think I need to make more spec commercials, just build my reel, and then just start hitting, telling all these businesses, this is what I do. Just hit the streets and let them know, if they want production content, then this is what I can offer. I can create a crew and do that. Or it all depends. Like, I can even film like training videos if we're doing technology. If you want to step your game up, you could just, instead of reading like a manuscript, you could just watch a video, and that can be shot by me.
You can even teach people how to insert themselves into the Asian entertainment industry.
That too, So it all just depends on how clever, how creative I can be, and just connecting with certain people and making it happen.
Right.
Just blazing a trail. So
there's lots of trails to be blazed.
Yeah, it all depends, but it should work out.
Right.
Yeah, it's still very iffy to me. Like, I'm still trying to think and build myself before coming back. It's gonna be a few years.
Right.
So as long as I continue with that and make the right connections and just with my skill set as well,
right,
learning myself, I don't want to keep faking it till I make it. I want to be as professional as possible and be able to know, whatever, if there's a problem on set, be the one to be able to alleviate it, fix it, and make great content, because I still see kind of like, I don't know, generic commercial content. I don't want to like point at certain, but when you feel like a bit of a cringe or like a little corniness,
right.
I feel like we still got a lot of work to do in terms of.
I think the dude's still in front of the green screen or something like that, or
just like you're just like, oh, come on, man.
Hey, come on down to.
It's not funny, and it's like we still got some work to do. Back to the drawing board type deal. So I mean, I
because there is a growing community of videographers. I don't know about directors and stuff like that, but it's growing. Don and Kel still doing their thing. I think Don's inserted himself into PBS.
Fucking Mighty Island,
huge.
Like
Mighty Island's killing
it. If we
it.
want to like see the guys that are doing it, it's like, of course, Mighty Island is doing some great stuff, and I know that Dreamstorm is working with Netflix right now, which is fucking amazing.
Right.
The Mooney Brothers are still doing their thing. I haven't seen Don yet, but I need to see that guy before I leave, because we still have a project that we need to finish.
Right.
That I acted in it, but we haven't even released it yet for reasons.
Yeah, dude. I mean, one of the biggest things I think that's happened for Guam in film is the fact that now it's in the educational system.
Yeah.
Kel has been able to like start a curriculum to teach young kids how to shoot movies, how to develop scripts.
Yeah, we didn't have that growing up,
Right,
so people that see that have that opportunity, take that opportunity. If you're young and you feel passionate, it's right here for you to learn. If you want to venture, you want to stay here, you want to venture, as long as you have Guam on your back, no matter what you do, we always got your back. So just take those opportunities as they come along, because they're doing it for us, for the youth, for us to thrive, to keep growing and keep making a name for ourselves.
Right.
Because we're not going anywhere. We just got to keep, have our roots just planted in this island and branch out from there. Wherever we go, we'll see.
Right. You think, it just came to me while we were talking, do you think talent would be able to be exported from here to maybe Japan? And people who live here, maybe of Japanese descent, or even have that foreign look that they're looking for, and you're able to recognize that because you've been a part of the process and sort of.
Yeah, I never really thought about that, to
be a liaison in that,
be as famous as having that Guam face and flying in for certain things. I feel like Japan they have their own bubble of entertainment.
I see.
You know what I mean? America is like the only bubble of entertainment that goes beyond its borders.
Right. Because I feel like I feel like even if there was an agency that helped aspiring actors or actresses or models or anything like that to reach being in the United States, it'll be much harder, right? To
Agency in Japan?
Agency here on Guam to facilitate getting work in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it'll be more doable. I don't know if it's possible at all. It's just sort of a thought that came to my brain, and
I mean, if
to be able to facilitate
are there
gigs for
everyone's like vying for their own position. So like if someone is on Guam, if they want to like be in the action, they got to be in Hollywood. Yeah, they got to be there. Like they got to like work from there and build themselves and try and get into as many projects as you can so that you can become a face.
Right.
So I mean, if it ever gets to that point, oh, what happened?
I think he's tangled up in the cord there.
Go. All right, good boy. Anyway, there was actually I don't know if you know the John Roberts Powers agency.
Right, I remember them.
I forgot the lady that runs it, but she actually had some students that would go to a talent agency in Miami where they would do certain talents and be recognized by certain agencies from New York, from Miami, and from LA.
Like scouts.
Yeah, and the way I found out from her is when I was with an agency in LA that brought me over there to Miami, and I met her out there, and I met I think 2 or 3 other people that was with her. But the problem with that is that it's very expensive to get into that, and if you have a lot of money, I'd recommend it, because I went there. I kind of went there. I threw all my chips in, thinking that this will start my career.
How old were you?
I was, I think, 25, and the agent was really encouraging in saying that if you do this, it'll open up a lot of opportunities. It just costs this amount of money. So I'm like, all right, let's just do it. So we go there, and I did make connections, but the problem is like they were like, yeah, you just gotta come to New York. You just gotta move to Miami. This and that. There wasn't anything. I didn't find enough connections in LA, because I did, and they said, oh, well, whatever we can do for you is whatever your agent's already doing for you. So it's like I could have moved to New York from that opportunity, but it was so expensive that I ran out on my resources. Like I said, I put all my chips in, that I didn't have any more money to try and strive and become an actor in LA, right, which is what I tried to do when I graduated from college.
Which is like throw yourself into the mix, right?
Yeah. Just like I thought that my dreams and my education would get me where I wanted to go, but I didn't really have that strong of a hustler attitude, because I just got out of college, and so it was the only thing I hustled was like my grades at that point. It wasn't the real world. Right. It wasn't like trying to attack like one of the hardest, if not the hardest, industries to get into. So I was just like, fuck yeah, I'm young. Let's fucking do it. Let's do this shit. I can do this shit no matter what.
Nobody can let me down.
Yeah, no one's gonna let me down. If I'm living in my car, it's for a reason. That means I'm fucking destined to make it, baby. Fucking do this shit.
Fucking story right here.
Yeah. Straight up. First one from Guam. That was always on my back, like, yeah. First from Guam.
Yeah, I was just talking to Joe and Jason J on the last episode.
Shout out to them, dude. Yeah. Fucking Jason J has been hustling. See, he's a
playing
fucking
tonight.
Hustler.
Playing tonight at Roots.
Oh, for real? He's on island?
Yeah, he's on island. Yeah, I just recorded with them on Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and they were, he was saying, it was like, man, it's so hard to succeed when you're living your life with feeling like you have something, to constantly prove to Guam that you're repping Guam, and it almost becomes exhausting and taxing.
Yeah, I mean, like, because you want to have Guam, on your back, on your shoulders, and you want to be true to your island. So you
want to put Guam on the map.
Yeah. like, you know, there's a certain pressure, and especially when people know that you're going for your dreams, there's more of a pressure because not everyone's doing it.
And when you actually make it, the pressure even becomes even more.
Yeah,
It's just like,
yeah.
okay, what are they doing to represent, to make sure Guam's seen, right?
Yeah, you see that a lot, especially like with Pia Mia. Like, I see the backlash on some comments, be like, oh, she's not a real Chamorro. You know, Chamorros don't act like this or that, you know? She's literally the first of her kind, leading the way in being how she wants to be. It doesn't matter. Like, if she is multicultural, just let her be as she is.
Right.
But it seems like she's representing fine. You know,
I feel so too. I feel like she gets a lot of backlash too. You know what I mean?
Like, just because
unwarranted backlash, right?
Yeah, yeah. Especially because, like, who is to say what it means to be from Guam or what it means to be Chamorro or from Saipan? Because even in your own village, it might be different from a village on the opposite side, and that's their way of what it means to be from Guam, and that's all subcultures. So you are just a subculture in and of yourself, and the way you represent, as long as you're seen in the light as a good person, and as long as you tell them where you're from and you tell them good things, then you're representing. You know what I mean? You're fucking partying.
Doesn't have to be all over social media and everything you post and everything.
Yeah.
Everything you do.
Yeah, like, people got to watch out for that because it gets a little crazy and they give out, you know, they're telling too much,
right?
And they're not living in the moment. And
right.
you know, I'm you know, I do that sometimes too. So I'm just reminding myself to, you know, just balance everything out and just take it into moderation.
For sure, because it's not like you're in Japan, like, yeah, Guam flag on my back while I'm doing the sound. The boom has a fucking draped Guam flag behind me.
I'm representing, guys, right here. Shit. And everyone else, they're all Japanese or international crew from Australia. Like, what's this guy doing over here? Gotta keep it pro, man. Straight pro all the way.
Yeah, man. And sometimes it can get in the way. You know, even my sister, she's playing sports in the States, and I told her, I was like, don't feel like you're pressured to, like, that you're gonna let Guam down because maybe you failed in one thing or didn't succeed or whatever.
I think failing Guam down is only like not coming back and just giving your energy. Like, even if it's not living, but if you come back from time to time and you see your family, you see your uncle all the way up in Jigo, you say hi, pay your respects, that's not letting Guam down. Right. But if you just go on and you live your life and you never contribute somehow, then, you know, that's cool. But
I don't know who made up that sort of thing to warrant the fact that people have to represent Guam when you get to a certain level or stage, right? And if they don't, then it's you're not representing the culture correctly. You know, it's fucked up, dude.
Yeah,
it's fucked up. I mean,
it's
it's a good gesture. It's a great gesture. But when people start judging the fact when you stop or you're not able to do so in certain areas, like
I think it comes from just having a sense of pride,
right?
Which is great, you know, because if we're born in California, we're just part of America. We can't be like, yeah, you know, we can be like, yeah, California, baby. But Guam being so small, we feel like almost initiated into living here, so that we have to really have a sense of pride because we're from this small island. And how do we get here? It doesn't matter. It's just having a beautiful island, and wherever you go, you just always have to know that that's where you're from. So it comes from that, I guess, and people, you know, having a family attitude, and, you know, if your last name is this, then you gotta have a good name, you know, have to keep perpetuate a good name if you have that last name. So
right,
it affects everyone basically. You being from Guam affects everyone, and actually that brings me to a story. When I was working in California, there was I was working at Chili's. And there's a guy, I wasn't there that night, but one of the servers, he served him, and he was from Guam, but he was acting a fool. He was like, yeah, I'm from Guam, and this is how we eat. And he started fucking like eating like an animal. And so he told me the next day, like, this guy, he was saying that's how you guys are. And I'm like, what the fuck? That guy was crazy. He was just acting a fool, you know? But that made him believe that this is how people from Guam are.
Right.
So I guess that's why, because when word comes back around that this person from Guam did this or that, that makes everyone else look bad on the island when we're just here doing what we do. So we really have to be ambassadors of our island, because it's going to affect whoever you come across if they know you're from Guam.
But not make it pressure you into having to be sort of a representation.
I think that pressure is how you deal with it yourself, because there's always going to be someone that says something that you should operate like this.
Yeah.
So it depends on how much you want to take that in. You want to keep it on your shoulders,
Especially when the comments keep doing your island proud. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
shit.
keep putting Guam on the map.
Yeah, it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. But it's cool, you know, like if you want to take that and like really have that on your back, people are going to watch you and you know, pay respects and, you know, give you a fist bump and be like, that's what's up, you know?
Right.
So take that in if you want to, but if you don't want to, like, there really is no pressure if you want to just live your life the way you want to, because people don't have to be proud to be from Guam. You could have had bad experiences. There's still racism on Guam, you know, up to this day, and that could really affect you. So you don't have to be proud to be from Guam, but if you choose to be, then we're going to take you with open arms. Not all of us. Some of us are going to fucking player hate on your shit for real, but it's all good. You know, haters come and go, and
Yeah,
if you're
for
hating,
sure. A good example is I don't know if you ever heard of Cuddy Q.
no.
Well, he
No,
he
Cuddy
went
Q.
viral here on Guam.
Sounds like a mix between Kid Cudi and Schoolboy Q, but Cuddy Q.
Yeah, Cuddy Q.
I think that those are his two.
his name's Quinn.
influences. Okay.
And so it's and he calls people his cuddies, right? So he's awesome. He's an awesome dude. Honestly, he's awesome. I first met him at outside a bar, and he was riding what's that thing on wheels, Matt?
Ripstick. Or
No, it's like mechanical, and it makes you go forward and back.
Oh, okay, one of those
Like
joints.
an airboard or whatever.
Yeah, the new
Skyboard.
Skyboard.
So he's on a skyboard,
Oh shit.
and
okay.
he had a ukulele,
Oh damn.
and he was serenading people.
Oh nice.
Yeah. And I called him. I was like, "Yo, sing me a song. He said, what do you want to sing?" I was like, "Candy Rain" off Soul for Real.
Oh shit.
And he sang that shit, and I was like, hooked. I was like,
Damn.
So he actually went viral, made an Island Girl song.
He
And
did.
yeah, dude.
Nice.
Like over 70,000 views.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I don't know where it's at now, but you know, but he, how do I say this? He loves Guam. He's not from here. He didn't grow up here.
Oh, really?
But he uprooted himself. I think work brought him here and just fell in love with the island. And
Yeah.
now everywhere he goes, he wants to represent Guam. And you can't hate on that.
Yeah,
right?
no, I think that's cool. I think that's super cool when, you know, you've put in your certain amount of time and you found a love for the island. And like if you really, you know, take the time to really appreciate the island. Like I see sometimes, you know, I see a lot of white scuba divers, and I'm like, fuck yeah, because our locals aren't scuba diving and seeing some of the reefs. Some of our locals aren't doing that.
Right.
If you appreciate and you really, you know, immerse yourself into what this island can offer, then I'm all for it, you know. As
Yeah.
long as you bring respect, then it's all cool, you know.
Yeah.
You put the time in as well. You can't be living here for a year or two and be like, you know, what's up?
Right.
Yeah, bro. Take your time, you know. Takes 10 years to be a New Yorker.
That's what I've heard from
Yeah.
a friend who is now a New Yorker.
Nice.
Yeah. It took him. He's been living there just about a little over 10 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Now you can say you're a New Yorker. Congrats.
Where did you hear that from?
This girl that I worked with, she works for Refinery 29. Her name's Connie Wang, and she, I did sound for them. They did a couple documentaries,
Yeah.
and I did both sounds. So I saw on her Instagram, like she has like 50,000 followers or something like that.
Yeah.
And she said that because she just officially became a New Yorker. And so, you know, congrats to her. Shout outs to Connie Wang and Refinery 29. You guys pay really
Do you
well.
feel like you're considered a Tokyoan? Tokyoite? Tokyoite? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Tokyoan?
I don't know. I haven't.
Chisato, how do you say it?
Tokyoese.
Tokyo ni.
What would it be like a person from Tokyo? What would you call them? Like a person from New York is a New Yorker. Like Tokyo what? Tokyo Jin? Oh, Japanese is Jin. Like Guamu Jin, Chamorro Jin. That's Chamorro Jin, Nihon Jin.
Okay.
So I guess Tokyo Jin. Yeah. Is a person from Tokyo.
From Tokyo.
But you know, it might be a little different. But no. I mean, I feel like I got love for Tokyo. Big time, you know, because of all the opportunities that arise, and that's where I met my wife. That's where my kids were born. I have a huge love for Tokyo. There's some things that I don't like, of course, with anything, but Tokyo is great in the sense that in New York, you can't escape the city. Tokyo, you can turn a corner and it could feel a little country style or a little bit away from the city. Like you can just go in a certain area and be like, wow, this is pretty nice. This atmosphere.
It's quiet.
Yeah, you know, there's not, you know, you don't feel like you're surrounded by so many people.
Right.
If you want to feel like that, just go on the trains about 6, 7 in the morning. Certain train lines, certain areas, you can be fucking like
rubbed up against people.
Yeah, as much as you want. And that's when like all the mannerisms go out the door when you're down in the subway lines at that time. But when you're outside of the subway, then everyone's polite and everyone's nice and it's cool. It's all G because you know you're not cramped up with so many people.
Right.
That's just, you know, human nature, I guess. Yeah. But no, I feel like I want to build something where I'm always going to Tokyo for some reason and
keep that freelance work out there.
Yeah. You know, especially my kids, I want them to get into it too.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to get into it when I was a kid on Guam. So having that opportunity for them would be great. Yeah. So I would love to stick around.
That is awesome. I mean, we are coming to that sort of globalized world where everything's sort of flat and you're able to work not in the place that you live.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Just how you set your life up, you know?
Right. Matt, how long have you been going here?
An hour and 22.
Oh, damn. That was fast.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do about just an hour because of my family being here, but...
No, we can start cutting out. I mean, it's no problem. Yeah. I know you got time. I just wanted to catch you, you know, while you're here.
Yeah,
right?
For sure. We did it. Nice.
Yeah, and the last time we did it, it was in the middle of that coffee shop.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
Fun, yeah. Yeah, that was
people
cool.
recording us and shit.
Yeah. People were like, "Oh, what's going on?"
And then they're like, "All right, guys, you got to leave."
Shout outs to Blue Bottle Coffee in Shinjuku.
So this is number 4 that you've been on.
Wait, because we did the one with Freddie and Ed, and then we did an improv one after. Oh wait, no. The first one was Ikebukuro with Tony.
Yeah.
Then that was number 2 with Ed and Freddie, and then we did the third one right after.
Yeah.
And then a fourth one. So this is number 5.
We did do a fourth one.
A fourth one was the Blue Bottle.
Oh yeah.
Blue Bottle was 4, and this is
yeah.
officially number 5.
Damn, dude.
You guys are getting tired of me already.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm just glad we're able to like link up while you're here.
Yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah.
And at least sit down and do a podcast.
Yeah. It's good. No, I'm glad. I was worried about, you know, the kids turning up too much, but my wifey, shout out to Sato. She's got it on lockdown over there. She wants to move to Guam the most, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like super island style, Japanese. So
did you grow up in the countryside or?
I'm just gonna use the restroom. Baby, come and talk a little bit. Come, I need to use the restroom. Just talk for a little bit. Come. I just need to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
No, we'll start cutting out because he's putting the paper in his mouth. Matt, let's start cutting out here. Sure. Thank you guys. If Steve comes out before I'm done talking, then we'll have him like promote stuff and see how people can watch him. Kids are wild. So thank you guys all for listening to this episode with Steve Lefever. It's been a couple years since I had him on the podcast, and when he did show up maybe a year ago, I was able to hang out with him and stuff like that. but we didn't get to do a podcast. And just the fact that I can use this to coax him into coming into my apartment, and maybe he'll have more kids when he comes back. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Take some time on that.
You need a girl, right?
Yeah, we do need a girl,
Right,
but,
to
but
level
right
it
now
out.
it's definitely. I'll wait till these boys get a little bit older so they can help us raise the girl.
Yeah. I'm behind on the kid count with all my friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
I'm still at 0. Some friends have reached 3, and some have reached 2,
Hey,
and some have reached 1.
we don't all have to have kids. For
Right.
real, like,
I eventually
No.
want to have some.
But even like, take your time. It's no problem. Take your time, bro. When it happens, it's like, boom, this is it. It's time to really grind.
Right.
But kids can really get you to really grind hard. Like if you set your mind to it,
Changes life for the better.
yeah, like you can definitely be stronger. You will be stronger when you have kids, and it'd be great just watching them grow and watching them develop, and strengthening your patience.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Just becoming a better person overall, because you want them to be better. So, it's lovely.
Yeah, it'll be
thing.
interesting to see how his dynamic, growing up in Japan for a good part of his life. I mean,
Mhm.
do you think he'll remember it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Like definitely, he's gonna remember parts of it. But I'm sure he loves it here a lot, because he's just always going outside. Like all the time, we're inside. After a while, he's like, outside. Like he's representing hardcore. Outside. He shouts it out. I'm like, north side, south side, outside.
Tired of inside.
Yeah, no inside. Shoes on, please. Let's go. What are we doing right now? He's outside, man. That's the island spirit right there, or
Fuck yeah.
at the beach and stuff like that. So, yeah, we gotta make it back somehow.
Well, I'm sure
Make
you
it
keep
happen.
visiting in between then, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, for sure, definitely. So,
You want to put anything out in the world before
just
promote anything?
Just
People can follow you.
Shout outs to you guys, Master Random. Shout outs to fucking everyone out there from Guam that's representing Guam, that's doing us proud. No pressure. If you want to represent, if you don't want to represent, just do you. You know what I mean? But always, if you want, again,
Disclaimer.
try and contribute to society somehow for the better, because our culture is always changing, and so you are there to help influence the change and make the change for the better, and always have your culture with you. So that's that. And if you want to check me out, lesteze.com, LESTEZE.com, or Instagram Lesteze. I might drop some a movie on youtube.com/Steve Lefever. So take out the N and the R, Steve Lefever, and yeah, fucking, I guess that's it for now.
Are you still writing?
Yeah.
Working on a book?
Okay, shout outs to my book, Mariana Sky, which I've been working on that since 2012. It's fucking 2019
But you
now.
did a
7
release
years.
of it.
I did, but now I'm rewriting it for the paperback version, because it's only been an ebook
Right.
this whole time. But I'm trying to make it in time for 2020 FestPack in Hawaii
Next year.
to have, like a grip of those books, because I've been working on that book for so long, because I want it to be kind of, a magnum opus of mine, and it has like all the philosophy and the spiritualism, and it has the history of the Mariana Islands, as well as animals, and certain parts are satired. Like I make the military a bit of a satire, these two characters in it, and just certain ideals and different ideals, not just my ideals, but certain aspects that I've been fine-tuning this whole time. I was working on it last night, but I'm almost done with my latest fine-tune that I may or may not need to have a professional editor to release it on paperback,
Yeah.
but will definitely be ready for 2020 FestPack,
Nice.
Mariana Sky. So that's my jam right now.
Oh yeah. I've made it a goal in my 30s. I want to either write a book or write a script.
I'd say don't write a book. I'd say stay away from writing a book.
But if I write a book, it's not going to be released. It'll just be something for me.
Oh, like a J.D. Salinger, put it in the vault type deal. Oh shit, gotta fucking.
I need to do something for this decade. You know?
Guam's own Salinger right here. Talking to him. Let's flip the interview on you, my friend. Let me know your inspiration on this.
I don't know, man. I feel like the podcast was something in my 20s that I can like be proud of.
Yeah.
Right. And I like the way it made me feel about, you know, being in that decade and being and what it's evolved me into. And I feel like either doing a book or a script is the next best thing for me.
I'll tell you right now, writing a book is very, very lonely. There's a lot of research that you might not want to do, but everything is all you for the most part. That's why I've always kind of ventured towards doing filmmaking, because it's such a group endeavor that it feels collective and you feel happy to talk to someone and to want to, you know, work on something here and there. So writing a book is very hard, but I've gone this far. I got to go all the way, basically. So I'm going to finish this book. And if I'm ever going to write a book, and I recommend this, if you want to write a book, you should do a how-to book, a non-fiction book, because fiction is like, unless, you know, you're just a creative mind and you have a creative idea, but these days it's hard to get your stuff. I mean, you can be original if you have a great idea. You know, everyone can be original, but just to get it read, just to have it read, you know, you got to be an artist, but you also have to be a business person. How do you market it?
Right.
And that's, I think, when I moved to Guam, that's the thing that I need to work on, is my business aspect of everything.
All right, let's cut out of here.
Okay, let's cut out because my boys, you know, getting hungry and all that. Shout out to all y'all. You know, I love Guam so much, and I love everyone. So thank you, man. Thank you,
brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah.
So thank you everybody for listening to another episode of the podcast. Steve Lefever.
That's my son, Irie James Lefever. He's the next badass.
It's getting wild. Matt, turn off your microphone. So it's getting
good shit though.
It's getting wild. So
yeah.
Thank you guys again for listening to another episode of the podcast. Steve Lefever, and thank you so much. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast. And until next time, peace out. It's getting crazy in the house.
Hashtag do it for the Guam.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode with Steve Lefever. I just want to give a special shout out to the sponsor at us, Mortuary. They are a small family-owned and operated funeral home, and they are large enough to serve, yet small enough to care. Don't forget to support us on Patreon. Episode 200's coming up. Please leave a rating and review. That would be super awesome. And thanks for always being the baddest.